default. How about that? Let's try that. I don't think that's my mic. That's not that. That's not that. This is lovely, man. Live streaming is a beast sometimes. It is so fun because things refuse to. Always so much fun. That is not the right thing. Check A2. I can do that. Maybe that's just what I have to roll with for now. Okay. Let's do it. Default right there. Sweet. Okay. That's weird, but we're moving on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this live, man. How about this? Yeah, this is great. Cool. We're going. Okay, so today on Raw Goods. Today on Raw Goods. I can't use the audio from this. That's super frustrating. And that's from that guy. That's where it's from. Lives are great because sometimes you just get to see people problem solve stuff in the moment. This is really what people want to see. Man, that's so fun. Mike, that desktop on here. I do not want that. Check A2. A2. This software does not seem to like this for some reason. Master out. Let's go in there. It's good there. Excellent. Check A2. 2, 3. Yeah. We're good on that. But as soon as it pops over to OBS, this great software, which has been so problematic, it does not want to work the way that it should. Check. Hey, two. Yeah. We're getting something there. I can see it. Let's check this. Where's this go? Properties. Check. Hey, two. Hey. I can't even hear this now. What's going on, man? This is frustrating. Everything was right, and then it's all wrong. But I can see it coming through. So even though it is going through a different channel here, yeah. Okay. Speakers back there. Check. Hey, two. Let's see if we're coming through on the live. We're going to do the whole thing. But the funny thing is, it might take just a little bit to check it all. So that's the fun aspect of this. Which is, man, such a learning curve for live video. Has anybody ever done live video? It is so challenging because it doesn't work the way that you want it to. It really doesn't. Over and over again. You get everything right, and then it doesn't work that way. It's so fun. We on the same account. We're there. And it's not coming up. I just want to verify the live. Let's verify the live right here. Let's do it. The mark of persistence. Can you even spell persistence quick? There it is. Yeah, boy. Check. Hey, two. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. We got everything coming through. For whatever reason, let's start this over, just for a clean intro. Let's do that, boy. Awesome. We're sounding good. Okay. We'll go away and we'll come back. How about that? Hey, today on Raw Goods, this is the show from Under Flight Films. Raw Goods is a show, and it talks about lessons and stories and leadership in America's backbone, primarily the manufacturing space. But we've kind of been in a series the last couple of weeks where it's a couple of stories from history of just things that any kind of leader can pick up from, they can pull from, they can take some truth from, and they can run with it. They can do something with it. And that is no exception with today. So today we're talking about the mark of persistence. So the mark of persistence, what does that mean? What do we think of when we hear that? For me in particular, making sure we're good there. Great. The mark of persistence. Well, I tend to think of, I really tend to think of, there's a movie that has been redone. John Wayne popularized it. Obviously, he was the initial role there, the initial actor, Mr. Cogburn. True Grit. And so it's the story of of him, but I think more importantly, this little girl. I can't remember the name, the character's name of the girl, but True Grit is just this. It's a rough story, but I think whether it's stories, whether it's movies, whether it's books, or whether it's true stories of people who have gone before us and have shown persistence, they've shown grit, they've shown this unwavering favor, this unwavering resistance to just mental hurdles that come in all kinds of different degrees and areas. Some's financial, some's mental, but we all face some of these hurdles. And so everyone could push for a while, but some of us recognize some people can push further and longer than the rest of us. And for those people, man, we have such a it seems like they're marked with I don't know, there's just this unquestionable nature that collectively we revere and we respect these people. So we're getting into this, but then also a practice that we can have in persistence, some things that we can do to stay persistent and move on into persistence and being a persistent people, a persistent person that is looked at as someone who has grit, who has tenacity, and who can continue despite whatever is going on. So I've got one story in particular. We'll talk a little about some of the details here, and make sure it's over on the other screen. Make sure I can see this. I've got some bits and pieces, but there was a guy years ago. Some of you will know this name, some of you won't. That's okay. But there was an expedition leaving England in 1914. So this is the teens. This is right around World War I, that era. So the Shackleton expedition. So it's crazy looking into some of the details of some of these older expeditions when the world was quite a bit more mysterious. The world had some more gray area in it, some more unknowns, some questionable things, and there was just, man, such a spirit of let's go find out what is over there and what it holds. So let's look at even a couple of pictures of the Shackleton expedition and just check. How about we do something a little bit better, guy? Check, check. I can see myself there. I can hear myself there. Check that. Yeah, yeah. Let's. Okay, cool. We got that. So this is one of the images in the Shackleton expedition. So their expedition started in South Georgia, and we're talking like in Antarctica, that area, and they ended up at Elephant Island. So they're starting in 1914. They've got a long expedition in front of them. They really didn't have the kind of ships we have today. It was just a long thing. They're going. Um, they had to battle ice on and on. They had to battle starvation. They got trapped. The ship got trapped in 1915. They're battling on. So this is January 1915. They originally started about, I believe it was December of 1914. And then moving on, their ship got trapped which is not a good place to be. Actually, their ship getting trapped, not awesome, not what you want at all. So much so they do have they do have proof of that. And they went on and ultimately, um, all the way to October, they're going on their ship Endurance. Yeah, with what we're talking about, doesn't that connect well? Um, all the way in 1916, um, camping out. Like this is at this point, it's too 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 long, but it's 2 years, not exactly, but the better part of a year and a half, just pushing through this. They get to Easter Island, or sorry, Elephant Island, not Easter Island. Let's not get this messed up. But here we go, almost 2 years, August 1916. What happens? They left left part of the crew at home. I believe it was 22 people. I am not going to read through all the details to make sure we get that right. Shackleton left. He went back to Georgia for help, Georgia Island, South Georgian Island, and then he ultimately comes back, and there was not a single man on that expedition who passed away, which is nuts. That was, I don't even know how long that was supposed to be, but that ended up taking about 2 years, and it looked like they were stuck in ice for way longer than they would have planned. So I think of stories like this when I think of persistence, of people that continue to push on despite, man, there's opposition. In their case, man, if you really wanted to, and if you were just done, you could just take a nap outside and it's over. Which maybe that's one of the most peaceful ways to go. But man, I can't imagine going through that. 2 years of you know that you're going on an expedition. You know it's going to be hard, but still, goodness, that's such a hard thing to go through. So we look at people like this in history, and we think, man, they have persistence. They have grit. I wish I had as much of that as them. And I'll start steering this a different direction. So my son is in middle school now, but years ago he kind of had a problem getting overwhelmed with things, and we started something that ended up talking to some different people, talking to some different people about, and they ultimately said this process, this 4-step process that I created for him was actually a really good was a good plan. It was a good thing for him to do. It helps with him. I could see it help him, and I didn't read any books or come up with this, but it was simply just looking at the situation and knowing, man, he has to get out of this like crazy, like, oh, I'm defeated. I am really chaotic. There's a chaotic situation around me kind of thinking. And so it's a really, really easy process. It's 4 steps. I'll tell it to you. This could help you. It could. Realistically, I think a lot of people are not going to do this, but there's one particular step that I think is the most important. So, number 1, we would together slap our chest. 1, we'd count out loud. 1, 2, we breathe in. Long breath in. Long breath in. We'd keep going. Keep going, keep going. And then we would exhale, so breathe out. That's number 3. I don't have to do that whole thing in the microphone. And then 4 is do it again. And then every time we said 4, we'd have to say it energetically. 4. Do it again. And so we would do this, and it's a process that would break up whatever the chaotic thing that you're thinking about. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't get over this. Oh my gosh, there's this financial pressure. Oh my gosh, whatever this is. And it is a process to help get you out of that mindset and focused on, okay, something that's going to calm me down. And so The most important part of this that I think you guys can get something out of this is there's slap chest, breathe in, breathe out, do it again. The second step, breathe in. Breathing is breathing slow is an incredible practice. I'm not even going to get into any Wim Hof techniques or anything like that, although I could, but I'm not. But breathing in, breathing out, such a benefit. But the concept of breathing in, and I'll say this metaphorically, what are you breathing in? So I tend to think of cars going down the road, and you got the air conditioning, you got all of the little dials, and the higher edition your car is, the more dials, the more little things that you can tweak. But a pretty standard feature in most cars is that there is the ability to recycle the air that's in the cab. Um, so there's a little button. It usually looks like some kind of circle like that, some kind of icon based upon that. So you have the ability to turn that on, which takes the air that's in the cab of the vehicle, it brings it in, and it blows it back out. So you have that ability in vehicles. If you turn that off, you get the air from outside coming into the vehicle. It's really useful when you're on a road trip. Somebody had too much Frito chili pie at the last stop. They break some wind, and nobody wants to smell that. So we're not going to want to recycle that air. A lot of times we're going to want to roll the windows down and get some of the fresh air in. But the reality is, man, if there is something that doesn't smell good, I don't want to recycle that air. I need some new air coming in. So the ability to hit that button to change from recycling the air to bringing in new air, such a huge ability. So when we think of that 4-step process I have, breathing in, I think the most valuable question of this whole thing that I'm doing today is, what air are you breathing in? It's a simple question. What air are you breathing in? So I think a lot of people by default are cycling the air that's in their metaphorical vehicle, their cab. And that can be the chaos of life. That can be the chaos and the stress of work, of financial pressure, of relationships, of so many different things. But I think a lot of people are just used to, like, oh, I'm just going to deal with it. Oh, I'm fine. And I think a lot of people lie to themselves when they say that they're fine. They don't deal with that pressure. They have the ability to, and they don't. They just keep recycling the air. They're not taking in air from anywhere else. And I think one of the biggest things to do is, man, how can you keep new air in your life? How can you get to the point where you turn off that button, you have the air coming on from outside? Obviously, there's certain times when you're driving through smoky areas, you don't want that. But we have to be aware of what is the air that we're breathing in. Is it beneficial to us, or is it harmful? There's a lot of people out there. Some are secular. I mean, for all the secular people, is it something positive or not? I think that's a very easy point to make for you. For me, man, I would call myself a Christ follower. And with that, I am very, very aware of what is the air that I'm breathing in. Am I doing it every day? Did I intentionally spend time in the Bible? That's not always yes. Most of the time it is. And when I don't, there's usually some kind of offset feeling over me, and I'm less Christ-like. So currently, everybody feels financial pressure from time to time, and we felt that. We felt that this week for some things, and so for me, I have reminders of, man, some different things. So even just posting, for you, it could be phrases, it could be, um, motivational sayings, whatnot. Uh, but mine, I've got a verse. It's in three different places in my house. There's one right here, right now, that I can see. The Lord will send a blessing on your barns and on everything you put your hand to. The Lord, your God, will bless you in the land he has given you. I am reminding myself of something that's not chaotic. This happens to be something of God. This happens to be words of God. And so I think the biggest question that anyone should ask yourself, especially in the face of defeat, the face of the face of failure, the face of opposition, whatever that is, what are you breathing in at that moment? Our whole focus today is persistence, to keep going, to keep trucking regardless of what's going on. But I think the question of what are you breathing in helps you to persist on and on and on and on despite the situations that are coming against you. I've felt a lot of opposition lately, a lot of things that haven't felt like they've been going my way. And I have the ability to choose to turn off that recycle air button, get out of the chaos. What's the new fresh air that I need in my life? So I'm going to challenge you with that. What fresh air do you need in your life? So those are the biggest things that I have, and that biggest question that I have. What air are you breathing in? So thanks, guys, for checking this out. This has been Raw Goods. This is a show that targets stories and leadership across America's backbone and manufacturing. Raw Goods is sponsored by Flight Films. Flight Films is a video marketing company that it helps organizations drive revenue through video. Flight Films. Thanks, guys, for checking this episode of Raw Goods out. You can see us every Friday, and we're at 10 a.m. Over on LinkedIn. And we'll see if we start making a regular show here on YouTube as well. So thank you guys for checking this out. This is Raw Goods.